It was still loud, but it wasn't quite as loud. I mean,
Yeah,
I had my AirPods in and I kept my hands on.
Good evening, everybody. I would like to call this meeting to order and welcome everybody to the October 11th, 2023 City of Henderson Board of Zoning Adjustment hearing. Sarah, may I get a roll call, please?
Mac Arnold,
Here.
Heather Knight, Rob Turney,
Here?
Landon Overfield,
Here.
Marcos Nicholas.
Thank you. Mr. Davis, our first and only appeal tonight, Appeal 3500. First of all, Mr. Davis, do you promise to tell the truth?
I promise to tell the truth.
Thank you so much. Would you bring Appeal 3500 to our attention, please?
Sure. Moza Appeal 3500 is submitted by JM Development Incorporated for the property located at 2446 Green River Road. Applicant is requesting a 15-foot side yard setback variance for construction of storage rental units and a drive aisle to access already built units pursuant to Article 27, Schedule of Regulations, Schedule B, Appendix A, Zoning Code, Henderson, Kentucky. This property is zoned in neighborhood business. Notices were sent to surrounding neighbors. We have not received any calls concerning this appeal. Any commercial in a neighborhood business, any commercial property has to have a 25-foot side yard setback. The variance worksheet states that there are special circumstances for this particular lot that make it different from other lots in the same zone. The topography of the lot makes it impossible to meet the required setbacks and still maintain a reasonable building area. The shape and shallowness of the lot makes it impossible to meet the required setbacks. Oh, I'm sorry. I must have read that already. Strict application of the provisions of the zoning ordinance imposes an unnecessary hardship on the applicant or deprive the applicant of reasonable use of the land. The large 25-foot side yard setback limits the ability to place two storage buildings on the lot that is 100-foot wide. Special circumstances they state in the worksheet are: 1, the granting of the variance will not affect public health, safety, or welfare in that the adjacent lot is vacant and screening is required along the property line per neighborhood business conditional use requirements. 2, the granting of the variance will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity in that the proposed construction is a natural extension of the existing use on parcel 65-44. 3, the granting of the variance will not cause a hazard or nuisance to the public in that the existing storage units have not raised any complaints, and these restrictions on lighting and time of use there are restrictions, I guess, on lighting and time of use to prevent a nuisance. 4, the granting of the variance will not allow an unreasonable circumvention of the zoning ordinance in that it allows parcel 65A-3 to be a natural extension of parcel 65-44. Staff has reviewed the request and submit the request for the board's consideration and action.
Mr. Davis, the screening along the property line, is that pretty well defined within the code ordinance? Or will that be something that we have to define on this board?
Probably something you need to define.
Okay.
There is a softscaping that's required according to the conditional use. I think the original building has a wood fence in between the actual building. The building itself, some of the buildings themselves act as a kind of a screening. There's no
Okay.
windows, and it's a metal sided,
I think it's
with brick on the bottom. Yeah.
Does this board have any questions for Mr. Davis? Any questions for Mr. Davis? If there are no questions for Mr. Davis, will the applicant please approach the podium? Sign in with your name and address, please. Please state your name.
Chris Hopgood.
Mr. Hopgood, you promise to tell the truth?
I do.
First question is, how are you related to the applicant?
I am the counsel for the applicant.
Okay. Does this board have any questions for Mr. Hopgood? Mr. Hopgood, you may be seated
Okay.
if you like. Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3500? Is there anybody here to speak for or against Appeal 3500? If there is nobody here to speak for or against Appeal 3500, I will close the open forum and ask for a motion.
You got something written down?
Okay, before I make the motion, I want to ask council, the screening that we're, I'm sorry, not you, council, but our council. If, have any of one of the conditions is that screening as is required by the zoning ordinance will be installed. Is that sufficient?
I think it's,
All right. All right, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Can't see anymore. That's not part of the motion. I move we grant appeal number 3500 for a 15-foot side yard setback variance for construction of storage rental units and a drive aisle to access already built storage units on the property located at 2446 Green River Road, Henderson, Kentucky. The variance is granted with the condition the improvement will not divert water onto any neighboring property, nor will it alter the natural flow of water, and screening as is required by the zoning ordinance will be installed. The evidence submitted through the written documentation attached to the appeal and submitted through the testimony at the preceding hearing confirms and we find the property is zoned neighborhood business under the zoning ordinance. The applicant is proposing an 8,900 square foot walk-up storage facility which will be used intermittently by tenants of the storage spaces. The topography of the lot and the shallowness of the lot make it impossible to meet the required setbacks and still maintain reasonable building area, and the normally required 25-foot side yard setback limits the ability to place two storage buildings on a lot that is 100 feet wide. Further, the aforementioned evidence presented shows the granting of the appeal will not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare, as the new storage facility will be similar in design to an existing adjacent storage facility. The new storage facility will not alter the essential character of the general vicinity, since the surrounding properties are also used for neighborhood business purposes. For those same reasons, we find the variance will not cause a hazard or a nuisance to the public and will not allow for an unreasonable circumvention of the requirements of the zoning regulations.
May I get a second, please?
Second?
Sarah, may we get a vote?
Mac,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Landon.
Yes.
Mr. Hopgood, Appeal 3500 has been granted in your favor. Thank you very much for your time. May I get a motion to approve the minutes of September 13, 2023?
So move?
Second?
Sarah?
Mac,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Landon.
Yes.
Is there any additional business to come before this board tonight? If there isn't, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
move.
Thank you, everybody.